November is all about death and rebirth. We spend most of the month with the sun in the sign of Scorpio, and so it comes as no surprise that these are the themes that are playing out. It is necessary for us to dive deep under the surface and for some of us to traverse the underworld in order to be born anew and to start a new life. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. For you, Scorpio, there's a heavy emphasis on self this month. A lot of you have really been through it. A lot of you have gone through situations that have shattered you. And you may have thought that you were permanently broken. But many of you have had the strength and the fortitude to piece your life back together. Trust and believe that a new beginning awaits you because Spirit has not ignored your work and your progress. Are you ready to embark on your new life? Let's go. What's up, Scorpio? I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. As always, my name is Mel and welcome to my channel, Divine Feminine Works. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, and spirituality. So if those are the things that interest you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, Scorpio, first and foremost, happy birthday. It is definitely still your season, so I wish you a new revolution around the sun that is filled with abundance, blessings, joy, great health, wealth, and love. Enjoy your season to the fullest, and again, happy birthday. All right, so November 2020. First of all, can you believe we're already in November? I mean, I feel like I say this every month. But again, this year is just flying by, and with good reason, because we really need to get out of 2020 and into 2021. I mean, the astrology is much better in 2021. It's not going to be as intense. So I feel like, can't wait to get there. But anyway, let's get to the matter at hand, which is November. Your month. Some of you, your month is October, but for a lot of you, your month is November, and it is still very much your season. Scorpio season is always really interesting. The veil is very thin. We venerate our ancestors. We can communicate with our ancestors, with the dead, with spirits a lot more easily during November. I am Haitian, and I know in Haiti, it is a month-long celebration of those who have passed on and our ancestors. It's like a continuous month of turning up and really communicating with those who are, beyond the veil in order to venerate them, but also in a way to gain wisdom from them. There's a lot that can be learned from the dead and from death. A lot of people fear death, but with death comes birth. Endings breed new beginnings. And that's really the crux of Scorpio season. That's really the theme of Scorpio season. It's almost like we all have to take a trip to the underworld. And the underworld can be a different thing for every person. It's different for everyone. The underworld could be your mind. The underworld could be a certain place that you've been. The underworld could be your emotions. But you have to die and be buried in order to be reborn anew. And that is Scorpio season in a nutshell. It's also the theme of the new moon in Scorpio, which just happened the other day. And I'm going to put a link to that up there so you guys can check out that video, because that message is very powerful. And I feel like the energy of that new moon in Scorpio is really going to resonate for more than just a couple of days. I feel like it's sort of the energy of November. So again, I'll put that link up there so you guys can check that out and hear all about it. But But in any event, let's get to you, Scorpio, because like I said, this is your season. And for November, you guys have an emphasis on you. Mainly because it's your season and the sun is in your first house of self for majority of the month. We've also got, like I said, we had that new moon in Scorpio a couple of days ago, which is also in your first house. We've got Mercury that's currently in your first house. And by the end of this week, Venus is going to be transiting into your first house. So there's a lot of self energy available to you. So Scorpio, it's like you guys have already undergone the process of dying and being buried. And now you are emerging anew. Your season, it marks a new revolution around the sun where you guys can go through the entire zodiac wheel over the course of the next year, experience new things, learn new things, develop yourself, have your needs met, and achieve the things that you really want to in this lifetime. That's what your season is all about. That's what everyone's season is about when the sun is in your first house. It's about personal development. It's about having your sense of self, a healthy sense of self, valuing yourself, expressing yourself, working on yourself, self. That's what November is all about for you, Scorpio. So let's go through the month and see how this energy of self is kind of playing out over the next couple of weeks. The main thing, one of the gold star days of November is, or should I say was, because I'm filming this after the fact, November 12th, which is when we experienced a very powerful and potent conjunction between Pluto and Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn. So if you've watched any of my other videos for the last couple of months, I've been talking at length about this great conjunction, which is Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. It's these three planets all together, all conjunct, all sharing the same space that has been accounting for all of this upheaval and chaos and conflict and change that we've been seeing in society. And it's also playing out on a personal level for all of us, depending on where this falls in your chart. So for you, Scorpio, this is happening in your third house of communication and ideas. So the grand scheme of things is that the way that you communicate, your day-to-day activities, your interactions, your social interactions, and your thoughts and your expressions are all undergoing this serious overhaul. You are learning how to communicate better. There are certain things that need to be eradicated from your life. There are certain lessons that you need to learn, and we learn lessons at the School of Hard Knocks, right? We learn them through adversity. We learn them through obstacles. All of that is accounting for this change in how you think and how you speak and communicate. Now, Jupiter conjunct Pluto is a very fortuitous energy. The theme of that aspect, the theme of this powerful conjunction is hidden treasure. So it's almost as if you're going to find treasure, you're going to find abundance, prosperity, all of that great shit. You're going to find it in a place where you would least likely expect it. That means that it's not going to come in the form perhaps that you really thought it would. I want you to think about diamonds and how diamonds are formed. You've heard the phrase diamond in the rough, right? Diamonds are made of pressurized earth matter. So when you look at earth matter before a diamond has formed, it doesn't look like much of anything, right? It looks useless. It looks like dirt. It looks like whatever. It looks like stuff that you wouldn't call valuable. But if you add pressure and time, what happens? A diamond is formed, and diamonds are beautiful. They're valuable. They are a sign of status, of wealth. You know, you get this wonderful treasure from a place that you would not expect to find it. And that is sort of what's going on with this Pluto and Jupiter conjunction in Capricorn. It's finding treasure. It's finding abundance where you would not likely think. And being that that is happening in your third house, there's some third house also covers your immediate vicinity. So it's your neighborhood, it's your immediate location. It's, you know, right where you are. I feel like for you, Scorpio, this treasure is going to be like right under your nose. It might come in the form of interaction with someone who you normally wouldn't interact with. It might come in the form of a new project or a new idea that has to do with your immediate location, your community, your neighborhood. All of these places are sort of the location where I feel like you can find this hidden treasure. And this energy is working in tandem with this first house energy that is the emphasis for you this month. So there's something about the way that you think and the way that you communicate that is changing, that is allowing you to have this personal development, that is helping shape and shift your outlook on the world. And it's this energy, these two energies working in tandem, working together, that I feel is going to be very prosperous and fortuitous for you. So keep that in mind. That's like the overarching theme for November. Moving right along, we also had another major happening this month, which is Mars finally went direct. Mars has been in his home sign of Aries since June, but since September it was retrograde. So even though it's in its home sign and it's super potent and really powerful, Mars energy was debilitated because it was retrograde. So it was slow, sluggish. It didn't have that motivation and drive that it usually does. But now, at least since last week, Mars has finally gone direct. So now it can be forceful. It can be warrior-like. It can be full of stamina and endurance in order to get things done. It's like a turbo boost of energy. And for you, Scorpio, this is happening in your 6th house of work and health. So I feel like for some of you, while Mars was retrograde, a lot of you were probably feeling very sluggish. There may have been some health issues that were giving you problems, that were causing frustrations in your life. With Mars going direct, now you're going to have the energy to actually face these head on and actually get some healing and actually be able to address these health concerns. For others of you, it has to do with work. Work may have been sluggish, may have been slow going, particularly if you have clients. So I feel like now with Mars having gone direct, now you're going to have the physical stamina to work more. Maybe now you can pick up more hours, you can do more organization, and you can serve others more. So you're going to have that energy to really get to work, which is great. But also be mindful that Mars is also the planet of conflict and of aggression. So when it comes to coworkers, when it comes to clients, be mindful of arguments, be mindful of being defensive and opinionated, because that can lead to conflict, strife, and arguments. So keep that in mind now that Mars has gone direct. Okay, keeping things moving, we had the new moon in Scorpio, which occurred on the 15th, which is again in your 1st house of self. This new moon, although new moons are typically about new beginnings and setting new intentions, I feel like this particular new moon was a focus on endings that you had to focus on in order to make room for those new beginnings. And being that this is your 1st house of self, I feel like there's certain personal things that you may have had to shed in order to have this new beginning. For instance, perhaps one of your goals is to lose weight or gain weight. Like you've got body goals. You want your body looking sexy. You want to look right, etc. I feel like this new moon is really was really focusing on things that you maybe needed to shed in order to reach those goals. So maybe it came to your attention that you had to change your diet. Maybe you had to stop doing certain things. Maybe you had to start doing certain things in order to reach those goals. And I feel like there was some sort of personal ending that drew your attention to it in order to make room for this new beginning. So that was that new moon in Scorpio that I was talking about, and I'm gonna put a link to that again so you guys can check that out. Check out that video and hear all about it. All right, so that was the new moon in Scorpio, again happening in your 1st house. Then by the end of this week, the sun is going to move into the sign of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius governs your 2nd house of money and material possessions. So you've had most of November, you've had end of October, most of November to work on you, right? It's a focus on you, yourself, and you. Now when the sun moves into Sagittarius season, now you're going to focus on what you have and what you'd like to gain. It's going to be about money. It's going to be about finances, resources, things that you value. That's where your focus is going to shift once the sun gets into Sagittarius season. But I'll explain all of that in the Sagittarius video next month. But just know that, now money is going to be on your mind. As if money isn't on your mind all the time. But once the sun goes into Sagittarius, I feel like it's going to be a real focus for you. That same day on the 21st, we have Venus transiting into your first house of self. Like I said, we've got Venus, Mercury, the sun, and the new moon all happening in your first house. So this you emphasis is really big this month. Venus in your first house is going to make you attractive. It's going to make you relationship minded. It's going to have you focusing on things that you value, which really works well once the sun moves into Sagittarius and into your second house of things that you value, material possessions and money. So with the first house having the sun, Mercury, and Venus, there is this emphasis on expressing yourself, on having your needs met, even in relationships. It's all about equality. It's all about having your voice heard. First house, like I can't stress this word enough. Self, right? First house is all about yourself. And rather than focusing on other people, you're focusing on your needs, your wants, your desires, even as it relates to relationships. So you are seeing how you play into everything. What you need, what you want, what you desire, and expressing that in a very deep, real, and profound way. That is the crux of November for you guys, Scorpio. All right, and then finally, we close out the month with a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Gemini. Full moons, regular full moons, they illuminate. They either show you the culmination of seeds planted from 6 months or earlier, or they shed light on something that's been in the dark for a while. Eclipses, particularly this full moon lunar eclipse, is like a full moon on steroids. So it's very powerful. In fact, a lot of ancient civilizations were fearful of the eclipse because of the sheer power that it exudes. A lot of people in the spiritual community will tell you that you shouldn't do any moon rituals during eclipses because the energy is just so potent and powerful. But the point of eclipses is to move things around so that what needs to be in your life is there and what needs to go goes, right? It's Spirit's way of rearranging things. So when you have a full moon lunar eclipse, a lot of times things are eclipsed out. So what does not serve you, particularly as it relates to where you are headed in this lifetime, will ultimately be eradicated, perhaps in a very sudden and very sort of jarring kind of way. For you, Scorpio, this is happening in your 8th house of transformation, shared resources, intimacy, and sex. So this may have to do with an intimate partner, or it may have to do with a partnership where you share resources, either with a spouse or a business partner. It could do with loans, taxes, inheritances. All of that stuff is sort of fair game for this full moon lunar eclipse. So perhaps maybe 6 months ago during the new moon solar eclipse in May, there may have been a seed that was planted. Perhaps it had to do with a mortgage. Perhaps it had to do with shared resources. Perhaps it had to do with intimacy within a partnership. All of those things may have been planted 6 months ago. So think back to that time around what happened. This eclipse may show you the result of that, what that seed has grown into. For others of you, it's going to shed light on something that's been covered. Maybe you have an issue with a spouse and funds. Maybe they've been siphoning funds. Maybe they've been secretly saving funds. Maybe being that this is in the Gemini house and Gemini rules communication and paperwork, I feel like it may have to do with some sort of paperwork regarding resources. So maybe it's a deed, maybe it's a title, maybe it's a will for some of you. All of that is fair game for this full moon lunar eclipse. But regardless, the month of November is going to end on a very intense note with this eclipse. But Scorpio, again, this month is all about you. So use the energy to your advantage. Make those changes in your personal life. Think about what it is that you want. Express yourself. Be open to communication with others. And I feel like your new year is going to kick off very well. All right, so that's been the astrology. If you guys would like to know more about November, particularly for your sign, including transits and information on your ruling planet, check out the link in the description box for November 2020 horoscopes. You can read for your sun, moon, rising, and get a full and complete picture of November for you. So again, that link is going to be in the description box below. All right, so now that we've gotten the astrology out of the way, let's get into the tarot and see what messages Spirit has for you for this month, your season, at least until November 21st. All right, first we've got within the next few weeks. Let me see, I don't know if you can really tell, but it's like you see this angel. It's like you see a couple of people just chilling, and then you've got some angels walking around, right? I feel like there's going to be some sort of, I don't want to say miraculous event, right? But I feel like there's going to be something that's going to, it's almost like someone is coming down from the heavens and actually helping you out with something. It's like divine intervention is what I'm getting. Because look at this angel right there. It's like they've got their wand in hand ready to sort of grant a wish or grant healing or something. That's the vibe I'm getting with this card. And this is going to happen within the next few weeks. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got karmic completion, and this is a 1. So again, this talks about your new revolution around the sun. There's a cycle that has ended in your life. Obviously, when you have your season, when you have your solar return, it's a new cycle because you're entering a new year. You're a year older. But there's something recently that has run its course, and now it's time for this new beginning. With this 1 card, well, it's a 1 because 1 and 0 reduced to 1. It's really about this new year. There's a lot of newness going on, and something has finally run its course. But the thing with karmic completion, this is not just completion. Karmic completion signifies that there is a certain lesson that you've learned, or that you should have learned when this thing ended, right? And being that Scorpio season is all about death and rebirth, it's the phoenix rising from the ashes. There's a certain lesson that you've learned the hard way. There's a certain lesson you've learned via experience that you need to carry into this new year for yourself. But let's pull some more cards and see if that will be revealed to us. Okay, the house. What number is this? This is a number 4. So the house is about security. It's about foundation. It could be about a literal house. Remember how I said the full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 8th house of shared resources. That shared resource could be a home, mortgage, home, paperwork having to do with that home. There's a focus on home this month that's very important. About security, about building a home, about building a foundation. Some of you are going to have a major emphasis on this month of November. Okay, we've got honesty. And this says, I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. With the emphasis on your 1st house, and the 1st house being Scorpio, you guys are already intense. You guys are complex. You guys are very much into truth, loyalty, and trust. So when it comes to any self-reflection that you do, of course, you guys are going to be, or you should be, very honest with yourself. Again, remember how I said that full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your 8th house of shared resources. And with Venus also transiting into your 1st house, which puts this focus on relationships, right? I feel like some of you are going to have issues of honesty with others. Could be intimate partners. Could be people that you live with. I feel like you guys are going to be forthright and you guys are going to be honest and truthful, but I feel like you may have people around you who are not. You see how this card, it's this dark purple. There's this element of things not being said. Someone's not speaking their true feelings. Yeah, you've got people around you who aren't so honest. And I feel like it has to do with a home situation, a property situation, or just people that you live with. Okay, we've got breakups and makeups. What number is this? The 27, which is a 9. Interesting. 9 is sort of the number of that signifies like completion. So again, circling back to this karmic completion card. Some of you have been going round and round with someone. I feel like Again, this could be an intimate partner, someone that you live with. It's like sometimes you're on good terms, sometimes you're on bad terms. But I love this depiction. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but there's this, I believe it's like a Japanese proverb or a Japanese story where when something breaks, like a glass or a plate or something, you mend it with like gold. You put it back together with gold, or you put it back together in a way where you can visibly see where the cracks are. And there's value in that. It makes it valuable because it shows vulnerability. It shows lessons learned. I'm completely jacking up that proverb, so don't quote me, but I'm sure you've seen it on Instagram or on the internet, this Japanese proverb, and it's like a plate or a glass and it's got gold where it's been broken. There's value in mistakes. There's value in being broken and being put back together. And I feel like this also may have to deal with you just as you relate to yourself. Being that you have such a first house emphasis, a lot of things that may have broken you, that may have shattered you, you're learning how to put your life back together. And like I said, it's these lessons that you've learned. Some of you has to do with relationships, and not even just personal relationships or romantic relationships with anybody. The shattering, the mistakes, the heartache, putting yourself back together has taught you a lot. And it is that knowledge, that consciousness that you've gained in doing that, which is going to carry you through this new year. So I really want you to reflect, for as long as your season lasts, until the end of the month. Really reflect on what this past year has been like for you, and what heartaches, breakups, shattering that you've encountered, and how you've put yourself back together again. That glue that is holding this plate together is like gold. It's super valuable, and that's what you're going to carry into your new year, your new revolution around the sun. It's going to allow you to move real different. It's going to force you to be honest with yourself. It's going to force you to be honest with others. And it can be very life-changing. It's almost like a level up. You've graduated from one level and now you're moving on to a higher level, along with the knowledge that you've gained along the way. And then finally, we have By the Book. By the Book speaks about following an order, following a path. You see how these elephants are in succession, in size order, in height order. They're really going by the book. Being that this is 11, that reduces to a 2, there's some sort of duality here. I'm hearing, like with this honesty card, it's like truthfulness and lies, right? And sort of Yeah, there's this element of doing things in order. There's a certain order to things. There's a certain path to follow, and you can't skip steps. I feel like this can relate to a lot of different things. Relationships, and like I'm hearing like 3D things, like things in the material world. You can't skip steps. You have to follow the order. I'm going to pull more cards and see what that means, because that just came, like, that's just like a random message. But let's get into the tarot and see what else we got here for you, Scorpio. Ooh, look at that. The World. This is the karmic completion I was talking about before. You've leveled up. You've graduated. You've moved up a grade in the school of hard knocks. And again, it's these breakup and makeup. It's these breakups and makeups and this shattering and this, all the mistakes and putting yourself back together again. That is what you've learned, and that's what you're going to use moving forward. But you've leveled up, point blank. Okay, we've got the 8 of Wands. And we've got Judgment. Yeah, a lot of you are leveling up very quickly. Like, I'm hearing that the shattering that you experienced was severe. A lot of you thought and felt like you were broken for good. But somehow, it's like deep within yourself, you've been able to pick yourself up and piece yourself back together. And it's like Spirit has not ignored that. Spirit really took notice of that. I think that's why we have this within the next few weeks. Something that you really want is going to come within the next few weeks. Remember, I said this angel is sort of down here just granting gifts. Or it's like you're going to find yourself in a completely new situation very quickly. Very quickly. It's like I'm hearing like Spirit like took notice of this work, this heavy, intense work that you did, and was like, oh man, look at Scorpio. Scorpio's really doing the damn thing. Like, some other people would have been broken, would have stayed broken for a long time, but Scorpio, they put themselves back together. Oh, okay, so boom. Let's bless them real quick. That's what I'm getting for you. And how wonderful is that to coincide with your season? It's like the best birthday gift, right? It's this level up. It's this ascension. It's this graduation. It's like Spirit is sounding the call, and it's like the doors are opening for you. Some of you have affairs, particularly property, like overseas, that's going to that's going to come into focus, that's going to be emphasized. There could be some sort of judgment related to a house that's finally coming to a culmination. And I feel like it's going to work out in your favor. It's been a very tough journey, I'll say that. Particularly if you've gone through anything having to do with foreclosure or anything like that. But the ending and a new beginning is coming very swiftly for some of you. That where it relates to like a home situation or a mortgage situation. All right. Let's get some more cards out here. We've got the 9 of Wands. Interesting. Aquarius just got this card as well. It's saying that, you see how I said before, it's within the next few weeks, right? So there's still a little bit of mending to do. There's still a little bit of a push. There's still a little bit of work of piecing everything back together that needs to happen on your part before you can have this level up. It's not much. It's definitely not much. But you guys have to exert just a little more effort. I know you're wounded. I know you're tired. But that little extra push is what's going to take you over the edge into this new beginning. All right. Get another card here. All right, look at this. This is beautiful. We've got the 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, some of you have a home situation that's going to work out really well. You've really been through the ringer with this situation, but it's going to end up positively. Some of you are starting a new home. It's like that goal. Remember I said before, you've got an emphasis on your first house, and the first house is all about personal goals, right? Perhaps one of your goals is owning a home or acquiring property. I definitely see that this is going to happen very quickly for you. And it's all because you had the fortitude and you had the strength to piece yourself back together after you went through adversity. A lot of you really went through some tough shit, some really rough shit that, again, would have broken a lot of people. A lot of people would have stayed broken, but you didn't. And if you're in this place right now where you feel broken, know that if you have the strength and the fortitude to put yourself back together, to piece back the pieces of your life, it will really pay off for you. It really will. You guys have like a happily ever after here. With a home, with something tangible, something physical that you guys really want and that you've been working towards. Working hard towards, in fact. A lot of you, I'm hearing real estate. It has to do with the real estate matter. Others of you, it just may be something material, something you've been working hard for. Let's get another card here. Look at that. Your cup overflows. You guys have a new beginning available to you that's really, really powerful. And at the bottom of the deck, we've got the God of Pentacles. Y'all have earthly riches on the way. Earthly riches, earthly abundance. It's available to you. But again, you had to do this. You had to do this work. Scorpio season generally is about doing the inner work, doing that emotional work, getting to the bottom of everything, cleaning house in a sense, definitely emotionally. But you guys have a beautiful new beginning. Something that you want is going to come to fruition. For some of you, it's a relationship. But I'm hearing for a lot of you, it's a new relationship with yourself. I feel like some of you are almost in awe of the emotional work you've been able to do. The fact that you've been able to put your life back together, you're in awe of yourself. You should venerate yourself because that is not an easy thing to do. So you guys have this newfound appreciation and love for yourself. You have a whole new outlook on life. You have a whole new attitude, a whole new feeling of self-worth, of self-confidence that you can use going forward into your new year. And it's going to pay off well for you. All right. Let's get some clarification here. Let's get one on this Ten of Pentacles. I really want to know what this is. We've got the Hanged Man. So something that had been stalled for a while, something that it was a long process to get. So again, I feel like this really has to do with the house. For others of you, it's like something may have started, you may have planted the seeds, and then it's like things came to a standstill. Things were stalled. I mean, which makes sense. A lot of things became stalled once the pandemic hit, right? And I feel like during that time, a lot of you were able to see things from a different perspective. And you were able to approach this situation differently, or you will be able to approach this situation differently, which is going to allow you to have this thing that you want, this material thing that you want. Let's get one on this Nine of Wands. We've got the Nine of Swords. Yet a lot of you have been in this energy of stress, of anxiety, of not being able to sleep. Again, y'all went through some really rough shit. Shit that kept you up at night. Shit that really stressed you out. For an example, if you had a home situation where you were going through foreclosure, or if, you couldn't afford your rent or anything like that, you couldn't pay your mortgage because of everything that was going on, of course it had you like this. But somehow, some way, you guys were able to make things work. You guys were able to piece everything together, and you just have a little more push. There's just a little more work that needs to be done in order to have this happy ending and brand new beginning. Let's get one on this World card. Again, some of you have a favorable judgment in a court case, in a legal situation as well. Yeah, the Eight of Swords. Y'all were like this. You had stress. You had mental anguish. It's like you almost couldn't move because your mind was all over the place. Perhaps plagued with negative thoughts. Again, y'all have been through some rough shit, so this doesn't surprise me. But you were able to overcome that. And there's so many lessons you were able to learn. And because you learned those lessons, Spirit is really going to bless you right now. Let's get one on the Judgment card. We've got the Queen of Shields. Yeah, I feel like it's a spirit who's like really about to bestow some financial blessings your way. There's an emphasis on money, on material things. And again, it's going to happen within the next few weeks once the sun goes into your second house of money and material possessions once Sagittarius season comes around. So y'all need to wait and see. Watch and see what happens during Sagittarius season. I feel like y'all are going to be blessed financially during that time. Okay, let's get one on the Ace of Cups. Look at that. The 3 of Cups. Y'all are going to have reason to celebrate. When everything is said and done, you guys are going to have reason to celebrate, like I said, because y'all have done the work. You learned your lessons. You've pieced your life back together, and you're doing well. All right. So now, let's get 3 astrology cards to close out this reading, Scorpio. Let's get 3 cards out here. Oof. Right, we've got 11th house. 11th house is about friendship. It's about goals. It's also about like wishing on a star. It's about hope. Again, something that you really wanted, something you worked hard towards, something that may have been very arduous and a long ass process that got delayed. I feel like the doors are finally going to open up. Spirit is going to sound the call. The doors are going to open, and you're going to be able to walk into this new beginning and receive what it is that you've been hoping for, this wish that you want fulfilled. Didn't I say that before when I pulled out that very first card? I was like, it's almost like this angel is granting wishes. That's exactly what I feel is happening for you, Scorpio. It's like you've done the hard work, Spirit has taken notice, and boom, you're going to be blessed. Let's get another card out here. I also feel like some of you have just been like watching time go by. It's like you feel like you've been in this mental anguish and it's like it's been such a long time, I'm hearing. And it's finally going to work out in your favor, Scorpio. All right. We've got 3rd house. 3rd house is all about perception. This is where that great conjunction is happening. This is where we've got Jupiter conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. Like I said, that's where your hidden treasure is. It's speech, thoughts, social media, your immediate vicinity. This is where you're going to find your hidden treasure. Perhaps some of you, it's a new home in a neighborhood that you really want. Maybe you're renting in your current neighborhood and you're going to be able to purchase a home in that same neighborhood. There's something about a desirable neighborhood that you want that you're going to get. All right. Ooh, glad I did. We've got Pluto. Pluto is associated with Scorpio. So this is directly associated with you. It's also about transformation. You guys have done the work. I love the first word here. I'm not sure if you can see it is, can you see it? Is it getting in focus? There we go. Renewal. Renewal. Just like this Ace of Cups energy, you guys are going to be renewed. Faith restored is also what I'm hearing. You guys are the phoenix rising from the ashes. You've been through the fire. And rather than allow that fire to burn you to ashes completely, you've taken those ashes, fashioned them, and you've formed a completely new being. Super powerful energy and so appropriate given that it is your season still and that you guys are embarking upon a new revolution around the sun. Again, Scorpio, happy birthday. Enjoy your new year. You definitely deserve it. All right, Scorpio, that has been your astro forecast and taroscope for the month of November 2020. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important message from this reading. If you would like to book a personal reading with me or order an astrology report, those links are in the description box below, so click on them. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Divine Feminine Works. Every week I do a series called The Week Ahead where I do a quick and dirty tarot read as well as a quick and dirty astro forecast for the upcoming week. So follow me there so you don't miss that. That link is in the description box as well, so don't forget to click that. As always, everything I do is a labor of love and comes straight from the bottom of my heart. Scorpio, if you feel so inclined and would like to tip me by buying me a coffee, that would be greatly appreciated. And that link is in the description box as well. Scorpio, my loves, as always, it is a privilege and an honor to read for you. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.